Hello again, everyone, and thanks so much for joining us for this Sunday's edition on this first day of April, Sunday's edition of Alaska Weather. I'm Dave Percy, a meteorologist with the National Weather Service. Up first here on the hazardous weather graphic, there are still winter weather advisories out for the eastern North Slope, this stretch of the Beaufort Sea coastline, and then the eastern Brooks Range. Until 10 p.m. this evening, winds gusting 40 miles an hour will continue to produce blowing snow that will reduce visibilities to a half mile or less at times this evening until about 10 p.m. Then conditions improve enough for the advisories to drop. However, the blizzard warning on the eastern coastline here, Kaktovik, Barter Island, those areas, that's out until 6 a.m. Monday morning. Look for winds 60 to 70 miles an hour. Will continue to produce whiteout conditions throughout the entire night tonight and then improve probably later tonight. The stronger gusts will begin to die off after midnight, but the warning out until 6 a.m. Monday. On to satellite imagery, you can see disturbance here cutting southeastward across the, well, actually moving in Mackenzie River Delta or toward there, Mackenzie River Bay and Delta, trailing back to the southwest, kicking the winds up pretty good today. Here, 30 to 40 miles an hour back to the west toward Barrow there, and then again gusts 55 miles per hour to as high as 70 miles an hour on the extreme eastern coastline. But to the south, much better conditions. See some good clearing here north of the Tanana Valley. Pick up some more clouds here through the 40-mile country on down to the eastern Alaska Range, and then back along the mountains here to the west. Some isolated snow showers in that area of cloudiness, and also some snow showers developing just north of the Panhandle as this mass of clouds and upper disturbances drop southward. Otherwise, a very nice day here across southern Alaska. Just some variable high clouds early on, mostly sunny in the afternoon, Prince William Sound. Actually, the North Gulf Coast, back to the west, kind of breezy, places like Seward and Valdez. Seward seeing gusts to 40 miles an hour this afternoon out of the north, but lighter winds here over the southeast coast. Again, clouds moving into the north with the snow showers north of the border, and then mostly sunny skies on down to the South Dixon entrance. See a front here coming eastward, brought up to a half an inch of rain to Unalaska in the last 24 hours. Kind of stalled out right in that area there, so that southeast flow kept the rain going there today, with gale force winds as well here with this system, gusts 40, 50 miles an hour to the Alaska Peninsula, back across the eastern Aleutians, and pushing up toward the Pribilof Islands. Main low center back here to the west and to the southwest, with strong high pressure actually keeping the front to the south here, built over the northern Bering Sea, just with the surface high just off the southwest coast, and that directing moisture northward and then pulling it westward here, and some pretty good westerly flow aloft. Otherwise, we've got high pressure actually building in today, 1,047 millibar high for the western Arctic coast, and in conjunction with that trough that produced those strong gusty west winds, creating the blizzard conditions on the eastern coast. We can see dramatically better conditions just to the west with lighter winds and no snowfall at all. And very nice here through the central and western interior, across the south too. And then we pick up the snow showers over the Alaska Range. Light snow showers become a little more extensive here as you head eastward toward the eastern Tanana Valley areas, down Northway, Tok, probably, and along Nabezna. And again, mostly north of the southeast coast, some light snow showers developing this afternoon. Otherwise, the rain here spreading into the eastern Aleutians and pushing up northward toward the Pribilof Islands. And then along the main frontal boundary here is still down to the south, but basically north of the Aleutians now, some more showery conditions for Shimei and Attu, with the gale force winds right through here along the eastern Aleutians and through tonight for the Alaska Peninsula. Otherwise, light winds today, mostly sunny skies, Kodiak Island, few clouds here in the Gulf of Alaska due to upper level low pressure dropping southward and will develop a upper low here off the coast. That's going to tend to increase the showers across the panhandle later tonight. Actually, a weak surface low shows up now, 1,015 millibars. Look for the snow showers to continue to build north and to the northeast of the border there, and possibly even down on the south coast, Prince of Wales Island, chance of snow showers by tomorrow morning. But dry back to the northwest there, mostly snow-free. Just look for an increase in the clouds over the central panhandle, and mostly clear North Gulf Coast. Some channel gusty north winds will continue through tonight, like you've seen today here again from Resurrection Bay, Copper River Delta, Prince William Sound, pretty gusty, and also for northern Lynn Canal with chance of snow, pretty good, light snow here over the areas from the 40-mile country down into the extreme northeast Copper River Basin, but staying dry here for south central Alaska. Madanuska is sitting in the valley, generally cloud-free with mostly clear skies down to Kodiak Island. Dry northeast winds, again, gusting as high as 40 miles per hour at Sparrowvon, and Kilbrook seeing gusts to about 44 miles an hour, two of the stronger areas there. But that dry northeast wind will keep the clouds way out to the west here. Could be mostly clear, possibly even for the Pribilof Islands. And dry, though, with light winds, St. Lawrence Island. And along the ridge axis here, not much in the way of wind at all, just some variable clouds. And this system, again, pulling off to the east there, so improving conditions gradually, hanging on to that warning till 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. But you can see high pressure building in over now, sliding eastward. And that's going to let this system drop down from the northwest, bring a chance of slight snow flurries, maybe some patchy fog here. Definitely lower flying conditions onto the western Arctic coastal areas, but still dry down to the south. And the rain continues here for the eastern Aleutians, westward along just about all the Aleutian chain with that front more or less hung up right in this position. And this mess moving a little bit to the west. Looking at tomorrow, you can see that continues to push off to the west there with the east-southeast flow around this high that redevelops over the Russian Far East. This disturbance pushes a little more widespread light snow in across the northwest or western coast, pushing in toward Barrow, definitely Wainwright, and southeastward into the North Slope by tomorrow afternoon. Much better conditions here over the eastern Arctic coast and North Slope. This trough keeps a chance of snow showers over the extreme eastern interior from Eagle down to Northway and the extreme northeast part of the Copper River Basin. Otherwise clear skies, again, south central Alaska, Madanuska Valley to the southwest coast, on up to St. Lawrence Island, looking mostly clear, sunshine for Kodiak, and on into the Yakutat area here in the North Gulf Coast. See the winds lighten up a little bit from what they had been by tomorrow afternoon, but you can see snow showers on the increase here over the southern panhandle. And the outlook for Tuesday, that continues. Actually, another system develops, a front moves through late tomorrow night, so chance of snow, or a better chance of snow over the southern panhandle. It looks like snowfall levels will stay all the way down to sea level, so whatever does fall with this system will be in the form of snow. Heaviest in the south, more scattered nature to the north. Still some snow showers along and north of the central and eastern Alaska range, as well as the eastern Arctic coast, but nothing heavy, definitely. And winds picking up here. Looks like it'll get pretty gusty through the passes of the Brooks Range, and pretty breezy east-northeasterlies now through the central interior as well, right out to the west coast here. Lighter winds, weak low pressure over Kodiak Island, and stays unsettled out here to the west with areas of rain as a couple of weakening systems push up toward or just north of the Aleutians. And for lows tonight, anywhere from 10 to 15 below or 5 to 15 below up over the northeast interior to 5 above Copper River Basin. Lower to mid-20s out along the coast to upper 30s for the Aleutians, 20s to lower 30s for the Panhandle. Highs tomorrow afternoon, upper 30s to mid-40s for the southeast coast. Single numbers, central eastern Arctic coast and North Slope, 20s in the Tanana Valley to near 40 or into the lower 40s here for south central Alaska, Susitna Valley areas, mid-40s Kodiak and the Alaska Peninsula. And lows coming up for the next morning, colder. It looks like now 15 to 20 below up over the northeast interior, and 10 to 15 below eastern Tanana Valley. Teens to the southwest. Highs following here, single numbers, North Slope and the Arctic coast to 40s, mid-40s for the eastern Aleutians.
And now, aviation weather around Alaska.
Forecast here, we've got a band of marginal VFR with some areas of IFR there. Looks like pretty close to the Selawik Valley, but marginal conditions right over to the possibly extreme northern Kuskokwim Valley, but mostly along the mountains here. and IFR along the north side of the central and eastern Alaska range, and another patch up there just south of Eagle. Marginal VFR with IFR on the Arctic coast, and well, mostly the IFR over the north slope. Marginal VFR over the Arctic coast, and good VFR here from Seward Peninsula, Nome, White Mountain, much of the southwest interior, even off the coast there. Not too bad, but still some marginal stuff there around the Pribilof Islands, and a lot more widespread IFR here. Creeping eastward, but not quite making it to Nikolsky out over the Aleutians. VFR Gulf of Alaska from Kodiak Island, the peninsula, in across all of the southeast coast. You'll see some marginal VFR here over toward the eastern border and also just north of the passes on those both northern approaches. And then for the afternoon, it becomes a little bit more widespread here, a little bit more marginal stuff over toward the border. Otherwise, a pretty good day coming up for the southeast coast. Less in the way of marginal VFR here, but still hanging on to the eastern interior and the eastern Alaska range, that mostly on the northern slopes there. But good VFR over much of the interior. Some moisture dropping down from the northwest there, bring some IFR threats back into roughly Point Lay down to just north of Kivalina there. Otherwise, good VFR, St. Lawrence Island, down across the Alaska Peninsula again, Kodiak Island, the Gulf, wide open tomorrow for flying. And even the Pribilofs now, got to get out to the eastern Aleutians, roughly about Falls Pass here, and then into the IFR, which kind of stays put out there to the west and southwest. Then for Tuesday morning, really not much change in that area of IFR out there, staying out to the west, and marginal VFR in advance of that, covering, again, the eastern Aleutians to about Falls Pass, but good VFR here to the northeast over the eastern and northern Bering Sea. Pick up some marginal VFR, St. Lawrence Island, and then looks pretty well IFR'd in there for the Seward Peninsula. Eastward here, inland a little bit, marginal VFR again, the north slope north of the Brooks Range with some patchy IFR, and then down the east side here with disturbances, northerly flow continuing to bring several disturbances southward, keeping it IFR there on the north slopes of the eastern Alaska Range, otherwise mostly marginal. Look for an increase in the marginal VFR here over the Talkeetnas with increasing moisture due to developing upper low pressure. And marginal VFR, a little bit more widespread over the southern panhandle, stationary status quo there toward the border. And for the afternoon, about the same there, maybe a little bit more marginal VFR up around Port Alexander and Sitka in the central areas. Marginal VFR, Alaska Range, and again, over toward the Talkeetnas and areas of marginal northward there to the eastern Arctic coast. Good VFR here in the west down to Kodiak Island again, and marginal VFR around St. Lawrence Island, just grazing the Yukon Delta coast. And again, IFR still holding over the western and southwest Bering Sea and the central Aleutians westward. Passes Anatuvik VFR tomorrow, same forecast for Adigan, with the Lake Clark and Merrill VFR. For those passes, rainy, wide open. Windy though, marginal VFR to start with, becoming VFR before noon, and Mentasta IFR becoming marginal VFR, and Portage VFR with Chilkoot and White VFR, but marginal VFR already starting to show up possibly today, but definitely that'll hold on through tomorrow. You could see some marginal VFR in both northern approaches. And the freezing levels here, the cold northerly flow, 2,000 feet back to the west, associated with the upper level ridge here, but at the surface, right along the coastline, outer coastline of the Panhandle, 2,000 feet way down there by Vancouver Island. And with the upper level ridge, we've got pretty good area, 6,000 foot freezing levels here over the eastern Bering Sea, and 2,000 feet all the way up there off the chart. And for the icing threat, a very weak front here brings the threat of some light, probably just light rime icing at worst here into the eastern Aleutians, just to extreme western Alaska Peninsula. Also a chance of some icing up here over the northwest interior. That moisture sliding down from the northwest there. And eastern interior, maybe the eastern and southern panhandle. Jet stream, upper level low here, again going to increase the moisture in the clouds and chance of showers, especially over the southern southeast coast tomorrow and east of the border there as that kind of comes southward, and we've got a 70-knot northwest jet sailing southward there around that high, 20 to 30-knot northerly winds, 35 to 45 easterlies, and about the same at 3,000 feet. Turbulence, southern interior looks pretty rough.
Hello, I'm a GOES-R series weather satellite orbiting 22,000 miles above Earth. I can see a lot of cool stuff from up here, and I take pictures of it with my spiffy camera that has 16 different settings. I have such good eyesight, I can see clouds, snow, smoke, smog, and ash, so I can warn you about dangerous conditions and help you avoid them. When storms are brewing, I watch them closely and help with hurricane, tornado, and flood warnings to help keep you safe. And my lightning mapper tracks lightning strikes way up in the sky, even through dark, dense clouds. I also help with search and rescue missions. I listen for distress signals from emergency beacons and tell search and rescue teams just where to find people who need help. But even when I'm keeping a close eye on Earth, I'm monitoring weather out here in space, too. I watch the sun for big bursts of energy, which send waves of radiation toward Earth that can affect power grids, block communication with planes, cause errors in GPS, and damage satellites. Space weather is also very dangerous for astronauts working outside the International Space Station. I warn them so they can get inside where they'll be safe. So the next time you watch a weather report or check your phone for the forecast, remember, that's me. So look to the sky and wave. I'll be here. Whoa! Things are looking pretty bad down there. But don't worry. I'm going to give weather forecasters a heads up and help you stay safe. I'm a GOES-R series weather satellite, and one of my jobs is to keep an eye on Earth's weather as I orbit above. But I'm 22,000 miles above Earth. How does your local weather forecaster know what I see all the way up here? First, I have to figure out what's going on. I point my special camera at the Earth and take pictures of the clouds I see below. My pictures show where the clouds are, but I also take lots of other notes about the clouds. For example, how high they reach into the atmosphere, how much rain they might cause, and when a severe storm may be forming. But I can't keep all of this information to myself. I have to share it with weather forecasters down on Earth. A big antenna is waiting for my call. Since I'm a satellite, I send my pictures and notes in a computer language of ones and zeros. Luckily, the antenna speaks my language. Computers connected to the antenna organize my notes and combine all of the pictures and cloud information and translate them into weather maps. They send a version of the maps back up to me. I'll hold on to these for later. Another copy of the maps is split into smaller pieces. This helps the maps move faster from one place to another. The map pieces are then sent for processing before being sent back up in the sky to a communication satellite. From there, the maps are picked up by antennas at the National Weather Service forecast offices in each region. There are more than 100 offices. I also take the maps that I received and send them out to companies that specialize in making the maps more colorful and better for viewing on TVs and computers. The colorful maps and the maps from the forecast offices then go to your local weather forecaster. The forecaster combines the information from these maps with lots of other information, like model forecast data and radar data, to make predictions about the upcoming weather in your area. And that's how I help you find out if bad weather is going to ruin your afternoon plans. You're welcome. Soon it will be my time to shine. In outer space. I'm the GOES-R satellite. That stands for Geostationary Operational Environmental Satellite. And the R stands for my order in this series of weather satellites. Like my older siblings before me, I'll do a lot for watching weather, but I'm pretty special because I have a lot of new gadgets. I'm originally from Colorado, but my journey to space has a few stops along the way. I'll be shipped in a very special satellite shipping container to Kennedy Space Center. Moving me around is not easy. I'm over 18 feet wide and weigh 6,000 pounds. And then things get really exciting. I get loaded onto an Atlas V541 launch vehicle. A big rocket! Woo! After Atlas and I blast off together, my compartment separates from the launch vehicle and I continue to climb higher and higher. Then I break away completely and unfurl my solar panel and antenna. After that, I have to use my thrusters to get into just the right position, 22,000 miles above the ground and traveling 1.9 miles per second to keep up with Earth's rotation. And then I can officially start my job along with my fellow GOES sisters, where I take advanced pictures for more accurate weather forecasts, map lightning in real time, and improve the monitoring of the sun's activity. It's going to be so awesome! I can't wait!
And now, marine weather around Alaska.
This opened up a little more, some good satellite imagery, so the analysts able to see that there's sea ice free water here north of St. Lawrence Island and also Nunivak Island here, with less down along the southwest coast to just about hardly anything in Bristol Bay anymore. Still looking at the forecast, the colder air to come in, more northerly winds or northeasterlies, and that will start to expand the ice conditions here during the upcoming week. Coastal water forecast, we've got gales up here in the north coast out of the northeast for tomorrow. Seas 10 feet, small craft advisories south of there, especially coming out of the bay here. Could probably even be stronger gusts than that, will be stronger gusts than that. And then lighter, more variable winds on down the coastline at 15 knots. Southeast 20 for Clarence Strait, north 25. Small craft advisories for Stevens Passage. Gale warnings out for Lynn Canal, north 35 with higher gusts. And then on Tuesday, those come down under gale force, still 30 knots though out of the north, and 15 knots for Stevens Passage. Southeast 15 for Clarence Strait. And variable winds at 10 here for the south coast, become northeast 20, increasing to 25 knots, coming down from the gales of tomorrow there for the extreme north coast, seas 5 to 6 feet or 4 to 6 feet. Prince William Sound tomorrow, north 25, higher gusts again, north 25 for the North Gulf Coast, northeast to 20 here for the western coast, on down across the Barren Islands. And we've got small craft advisories, Kachemak Bay and southern Cook Inlet for those winds out of the north at 25 and 20 knots in store for northern Cook Inlet. Next day, lighter winds here, northeast 15 for all the inlet, turn north down to 15 for Kachemak Bay, just 15 out of the west for the Barren Islands. Turning southeast here for the western North Gulf Coast. East side, pretty light there with 10 to 15 out of the east-northeast. Prince William Sound, northeast 15, seas 3 feet. And for Kodiak Island, not too bad, pretty light on the east side there, 15 knots. Shelikof Strait, though, 25 out of the northeast. Sitkinak to Castle Cape, northeast 20. And then you pick up the small craft advisories here for the Alaska Peninsula. Easterlies, 25 to 30 knots, 7 to 12 foot seas. Small craft advisories also for Bristol Bay. Those fall back to 15 knots for Tuesday, all the way down the Bering Sea side of the peninsula. South side, though, Cape Sarichef to Castle Cape, east 20, 8-foot seas, and then 10-knot winds along the east side of Kodiak and southwest of Sitkinak, while Shelikof Strait only at about 15 out of the north. Aleutians tomorrow, lightest out west with 20 knots from the east. Small craft advisories, central Aleutians 25 to 30 knots there for Adak and Atka. More of a 30-knot sustained wind, pretty uniform here for the Fox Islands out of the east. Seas running 9 to 15 feet. And for Tuesday, those come down to 20 knots. Stay pretty uniform though, all out of the east at 20 with 6 to 9 foot seas, 20 to 25 now for the central Aleutians, on out to about Amchitka Island, and then 20 knots from Kiska to Shimia. For the southwest coast, small craft advisories, northeast 25 to 30 with 6 to 7 foot seas. Turn easterly here from St. Matthew Island down to the Pribilofs, sustained 30 knots with 10 to 11 foot seas. Northeast 15 for St. Lawrence Island, and even lighter there for Norton Sound. Next day, those come up to 20 knots for the Sound there, and then 25 knots. Brisk wind advisories or small crafts there for the St. Lawrence Island area. Down to Nunivak Island, south of the island, north 20, and 20 knots out of the northeast for the Pribilof. St. Matthew Island, northeast 25. And up along the eastern Beaufort Sea coast, kind of light variable wind pattern with high pressure here through the central coastal areas. These northwesterlies now coming down to 25 knots there for the extreme east side, but 10 knot winds all the way back to Wales. And then for Tuesday, northeasterlies pick up to 20 knots here from Wales up to Cape Beaufort. Western coast, east 20, north to northeast 15 for the central and east side, but falling back now. Pretty light wind day coming up for the areas toward Demarcation Point. And for tonight again, blizzard warning continues all night tonight. Here for the extreme eastern Arctic coast, Kaktovik, Barter Island, gusts 50 to 60 miles an hour, snow blowing snow, whiteout conditions at times, gradually improving after midnight, as you can see here, with high pressure building in just to your west with much lighter winds. A little bit of moisture sneaks down from the northwest there, brings a chance of flurries to the western Arctic coast. Otherwise, dry, breezy offshore flow keeps it dry here all the way out to the Pribilofs, possibly even cloud-free. Definitely for Kodiak Island, southern Alaska, channeled northerly winds continued, North Gulf Coast, Prince William Sound into the northern panhandle. Snow showers build though, and for tomorrow, more snow showers for the southern panhandle, and that's a look at the weather.
These forecasts are for planning purposes only. Call 1-800-WX-BRIEF for a formal pre-flight briefing. Always file a flight plan before you go flying. The U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary urges you to leave a float plan with a friend or the harbor master before you go boating.